Welcome to video 11. Okay, it shouldn't be hard to comprehend how we can go from a movie, Green Mile, and then move to a song, an old song, Mr. Bojangles, and see elements of this ancient mystery, this ancient mythology, this ancient history concerning the army of Sennacherib being destroyed by some sort of miraculous blast that was then connected to a man holding a mouse in his hand, and we saw how that mouse connected to bubonic and plague, and then connected now to Nana Huatzin, which is then now connected to the moon. And it's going to be no accident that we can literally move right here into Mork and Mindy and see the very same things. I mean, literally. In a huge way. So to talk about all of this, it will almost, we could do another entire video series. So I'm just going to kind of keep it simple and show you the most hyper relatives of these symbols and how they are so intrinsically related to many facets of what we're talking about. So what is the most popular expression that Mork is known for? Nanu, Nanu. Really. And it even becomes that much more mind-blowing, so to say, if you can absorb all this, that he's wearing the symbol, and it's chosen to put right here on the cover of this little video series collection of the TV series. You know, these are DVDs of all the seasons of Mork and Mindy. And right there is the crescent moon. And then I just showed you Sin, which is Sumerian Nana, as in Nanu, Nanu. Unbelievable. I mean, I guess pretty believable for me to see it all, but I know that when you just begin to start realizing this, it's overwhelming in some sort of way. So he is literally within his expression saying Nanu, Nanu, in essence Nana, Nana. And that's the moon. And it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. So to even further guarantee that is what the code is intending, take a look at his little spacesuit. Right? That's his little spacesuit. And it is an inverted triangle. An inverted triangle is symbolism for the womb. It's in essence symbolized for the Queen of Heaven that bears the womb. The womb is something in which is going to be birthed out of. And we know that in connection with eggs. Right? The female bears the egg. Right? Ovaries, eggs, ovals. Right? So, you know, you can think about Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty what? He was an egg, and he had a great fall. And we see that egg is cracked. We see that the fall is in relativity now to how that thing is birthed out of it, right? If you got your head on straight, you would see that. But if you don't even notice that part at all. But hopefully you do now. That it is the very fall that is causing this birthing, which they would believe is a good thing. But as you can see, it's from a bad thing. And if the input is bad, the output, in other words, sometimes is worse. So Humpty Dumpty, in essence, on the wall, what would the wall be? Well, the wall is the moon. Bingo. It's the moon again. You ever heard the 1970s band called Pink Floyd? Pink is what? Lady. Floyd is usually a name associated with men. Usually. Pink, lady. Floyd, man. Dude looks like a lady. Pink Floyd. Right? And then they've got the album Dark Side of the Moon. Right? And then, of course, Pink Floyd, the song The Wall. Might even had an album titled as that as well. You know, Dark Side of the Moon, The Wall, Pink Floyd, dudes look like ladies. Right? So the wall is the moon. Why is the wall the moon? Well, because only one side of it faces us. It has a geosynchronous orbit around the Earth where only one side of the moon is constantly facing us along its orbit. The other side, the supposed dark side, you can't see. In other words, you can't see what's on the other side of the wall. So then they've got this expression in one of their songs, all in all, you're just another brick in the wall. Bet that hits you just like a ton of bricks. Maybe so, maybe not. Hyperrelatives. Hyperrelatives. So let's get back here to this. And we see the inverted triangle is now relative to what? The broad way. It's the broad way. If it's in connection to what? The Queen of Heaven. Well, then, in essence, this would be what's above, right? Dude looks like a lady, right? Hung upside down, right? And then we see that if this was above, looking up to it, be right here, right? Other dudes looking like ladies. And as they're looking up to this, as you can see, there comes the broad way. That's a broad way that you're looking up into. You get that? Broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And that's the moon. The pyramid of the moon, high, 46 meters high, overlooks a broad plaza at the northern end of the Way of the Dead. Right? Northern end, Way of the Dead. North is up, in essence, right? North is up, in essence. There's your Broadway. There's your moon, Mork from Orc. Right? Orc is an anagram for crow. Crow is a bird. It's a dark bird. It's a dark bird of heaven, connected to the Queen of Heaven, who is symbolic of what? A black widow. Now, if she was symbolized as a dark bird, she'd be a dark bird. But if she really wasn't a woman at all, but it was men hiding behind the symbolism of ladies, then it would be, the black widow would really be, in essence, this dark prince, right? Not meaning the color of a person, but these are symbols that are relating that there really is no light in him, that it's really darkness. And that represents that supposed sun god of theirs, Utu Shemesh, Aman, Marduk, Ra, El, Saturn, through many of his historical evolutions of name. It's really the understanding for what he is and what he isn't. And there is no light in him, as Jesus Christ has appropriately said. So there's your Broadway that leads to destruction. Mork is from orc. Orc is an anagram for crow. And then I can show you on some ancient Chinese tapestries, I guess would be the best word to describe it, the very same thing where a dark crow is on top, symbolized of the sun, but we would know that that sun represents their sun god, which is sealed on the moon. In other words, the planet Orc, in which Mork is from, is the moon. Nanu, Nanu. And it's no secret, right? So there is no accident that in this video series compilation, this one here, this disc that it's a part of, this is disc 4. And then they have chose on disc 4 to have these different sayings on the back that give you the series titles, basically. Okay? This disc contains, and this is disc 3, this is disc 2, and then this is disc 4. And then on top of each of these discs, they have one of his